In this episode of Cutting Edge, we look at some curious television censorship, examining some controversy surrounding the classic BBC sitcom Fawlty Towers, which first aired on British TV in 1975. It famously ran for only 2 series, with a 4-year gap between the two, and is considered one of the greatest British sitcoms of all time. Fawlty Towers is a British television staple. Its episodes have aired on British TV repeatedly over the last 45 years, and the series has been released and re-released on home video for over 35 years. However, one episode has ruffled more than a few feathers with broadcasters on at least 2 occasions. The controversial episode in question is entitled The Germans, the 6th and final episode of the show's first series, and is one of its most famous episodes. In one scene, the character of Major Gowan engages in a conversation with Basil Fawlty, the owner of the Fawlty Towers Hotel. The mayor is an old soldier and a permanent resident of the hotel who has lived there for 7 years. In conversation with the half-listening Basil, with the 2 men talking at cross purposes, the mayor recounts a time he took his girlfriend to see India. As it turns out, the major is referring to taking her to see a game involving the Indian cricket team and not the country of India. As originally transmitted on October the 24th, 1975, the scene plays as follows.
Strange creatures, women.
Well, can't stand around all day.
I knew one once. Striking-looking girl, tall, you know. Father was a banker.
Really?
Don't remember the name of the bank.
Oh, never mind.
I must have been keen on her because I took her to see India.
India?
At the Oval. Fine match. A marvellous finish. Now, Surrey had to get 33 in about a half an hour, and she went off to Borough Hands or something. Women never came back.
What a shame.
And the strange thing was that throughout the morning she kept referring to the Indians as niggers. No, I said. Niggers are the West Indians. These people are wogs. No, she said. All cricketers are niggers.
They do get awfully confused, don't they? They're not thinkers. I see it with Sybil every day.
I do wish I could remember her name. She's still got my wallet.
As I was saying, no capacity for logical thought.
Who?
Women.
Oh, yes, I thought you meant Indians.
No. Wasn't it Oscar Wilde who said they had minds like Swiss cheese?
It goes without saying that, to a contemporary audience, the Major's use of racial slurs in a popular mainstream television programme may appear quite shocking at face value. However, one must consider the context in which such language is being used in this scene. The Major is a somewhat senile old man with outdated, bigoted attitudes to race. The comedy in the scene works on 2 levels. First and foremost, we're laughing at the Major's old-fashioned stance on race. We are not laughing with him, a crucial difference. The episode, and indeed the series as a whole, treats the Major as someone to be made fun of, and pointedly, Basil does not endorse or condone the Major's racist views, nor does the show invite the audience to. Secondly, we laugh because Basil's point of reference, as he half listens to the Major, is the behavioural traits of women, whilst the Major thinks that Basil's comments are referring to Indian people. It's a clever and well-written scene, and one that is obviously not intended to offend. Regardless, when The Germans was repeated on BBC Two in the UK almost 40 years later, on January 20th, 2013, at 7:30 p.m, the episode had been cut by the BBC in order to remove the Major's racist language. This is how the scene played after these cuts, which amounted to just under 20 seconds.
Strange creatures, women.
Well, can't stand around all day.
I knew one once. Striking-looking girl, tall, you know. Father was a banker.
Really?
Don't remember the name of the bank.
Oh, never mind.
I must have been keen on her because I took her to see India.
India?
At the Oval. Fine match. A marvellous finish. Now, Surrey had to get 33 in about a half an hour, and she went off to Borough Hands or something. Women never came back.
What a shame. They do get awfully confused, don't they? They're not thinkers. I see it with Sybil every day.
I do wish I could remember her name. She's still got my wallet.
Following the edited repeat of The Germans, numerous British viewers complained to the BBC for its maltreatment of the episode, an episode which had aired uncut several times in the years beforehand and had been available on home video for decades. One viewer remarked, "You can't airbrush history away, and I doubt if anyone but the terminally thin-skinned could be offended by the Major." Another viewer went further, remarking, "It's about time you grew up, BBC, and trusted your audience. We know what is acceptable and what is not, and what is funny and why, and the fact it is of a time which is now long past. We understand context. The Major doesn't whip up hatred." In response, a BBC spokesperson offered a rather bland comment to the Daily Mail that said,
"We are very proud of Fawlty Towers and its contribution to British television comedy. But public attitudes have changed significantly since it was made, and it was decided to make some minor changes to allow the episode to transmit to a family audience at 7:30 p.m. on BBC Two."
A few years later, The Germans was once again singled out for its content when it was pulled entirely from the BBC-owned streaming service UKTV in June 2020, following worldwide protests surrounding the death of George Floyd, an African American, on May the 25th at the hands of police in the United States. A spokesperson for the UKTV service remarked that the episode was under review for containing racial slurs, remarking,
"We regularly review our programs and make edits, add warnings, and make schedule changes where necessary to ensure that our channels meet the expectations of our audience."
John Cleese made several comments at the time of the episode's removal that criticised the decision to remove the episode, including,
"Well, one of the things I've learned is that people have very different senses of humour. Some of them understand that if you put nonsense words into the mouth of someone you want to make fun of, you're not broadcasting their views, you're making fun of them. The Major was an old fossil left over from decades before. We were not supporting his views, we were making fun of them. If people are too stupid to see that, what can one say?"
However, within a day or so the news broke that UKTV was reinstating The Germans on its streaming platform, remarking at the time that,
"We already offer guidance to viewers across some of our classic comedy titles, but we recognise that more contextual information can be required on our archive comedy. So we will be adding extra guidance and warnings to the front of programmes to highlight potentially offensive content and language. We will reinstate Fawlty Towers once that extra guidance has been added, which we expect will be in the coming days."
More recently, a repeat of The Germans in March 2021 as part of the BBC's Festival of Funny series of programmes also featured a censored version of the episode. For contextual purposes, it may be worth discussing how Fawlty Towers has been classified by the BBFC for its home video releases over the years. The initial videotape releases of the show appeared on both Betamax and VHS, with each tape running for about 90 minutes and featuring a mixture of 3 half-hour episodes on one cassette. These tapes were initially released in 1984 sporting PG ratings, indicating that some scenes may be unsuitable for younger viewers, but at the time this episode was made, the BBFC's website did not indicate a formal classification of any episodes of Fawlty Towers before 1986. According to their website, the board first passed a tape containing the episodes The Germans, The Hotel Inspectors, and A Touch of Class, uncut with a PG rating on April the 22nd, 1986. This same tape was released in a digitally remastered form in 1994 and again in 1998. The Germans was later passed PG uncut as a solo work on November the 7th, 2001 for its initial DVD release, and would appear to remain a PG today. Additionally, an audio commentary for the same episode was passed PG on June the 23rd, 2009, again with a PG rating. For many years, all 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers were rated PG, including an episode entitled The Anniversary, which opens with an on-screen, but unspoken, use of the word twat. This is a term that the BBFC consider moderate in strength, and under contemporary BBFC rules is the kind of language that would be only passed at the 12 category and above. When Fawlty Towers was first released on DVD, Series 1 and Series 2 were released individually in the UK on October the 8th, 2001, and a 3-disc box set was later released on November the 19th, which contained the 3rd disc featuring a selection of bonus features. This set was also released with a PG rating in line with previous home video releases, and was later re-released in October 2005. However, early editions of the set included a selection of outtakes that included 2 muffled uses of the word fuck, although the words were clearly visible if you turned on the DVD subtitles. Fuck is a term which is not permitted at PG by the BBFC, for obvious reasons.
At 3:30, John Cleese as Basil Fawlty in Fawlty Towers.
It's been an interesting 15 years, but all good things must come to an end. I hope you enjoy your new welcome.
Mr. Thurston is the gentleman I'm dealing with at the moment.
What?
Mr. Richards is the gentleman... Oh... Shit.
Curiously, the outtakes had been passed uncut with a PG rating by the BBFC on July the 10th, 2001, so presumably the distributor had bleeped them prior to submission to the BBFC in order to attain a PG rating in line with the episodes themselves. The logical assumption would be that the UK distributors accidentally included the uncensored version of the outtakes when the set came onto the British market. Once the BBFC were alerted to this fact, the 3-disc PG-rated box set was recalled from British stores. Fawlty Towers was re-released on DVD in October 2009 in a remastered collection, again containing 3 discs, but with additional extras not found on the previous box sets. This set contained a bleeped version of the outtakes, but the set now sported a 12 rating. The reasons for this? An audio commentary for the episode The Anniversary, with its infamous flowery twat sign, had been resubmitted to the BBFC and upgraded to a 12 rating on June the 23rd, 2009. Under contemporary BBFC guidelines, not only was the word twat considered to be more appropriately placed at 12 rather than PG, but the spoken use of the term wog was also a factor in the decision.
Him paella is a Spanish, not Cockney stinking eel pie. Right. I make the paella like my mama.
I'm not interested.
My mother's recipe is big in Barcelona.
Go away.
No, please, you come. He called me ignorant, wog, mother boy, crump.
Let go of me. Now look.
Yes.
The Anniversary episode was later reclassified 12 with its original soundtrack as a solo work on February the 15th, 2011. Fawlty Towers was later released on Blu-ray in the UK on November the 18th, 2019 with a 12 rating. As is the case with all previous home video releases, none of the episodes suffer any BBFC or distributor cuts, with the BBFC ratings info noting on the cover that the work contains a single use of bleeped strong language and racist language. Fans of the show around the world can pick up the UK Blu-ray set to enjoy the best image and audio quality, as the set is not region locked. However, fans in NTSC regions are advised to check whether both their Blu-ray players and TV sets support the 50Hz playback format that the UK Blu-ray set utilises.